Hello, David Zritsky for the Bond Experience. Welcome back. It occurs to me that being surrounded by nostalgia, I get a wonderful feeling of comfort. There's a simplicity to nostalgia that brings us back to a wonderful time and allows us to escape. It also brings us together, and that's what this video is about. It's really to highlight the James Bond clubs around the world. We're going to explore together what have they been doing and what do they continue to do? And more importantly, what does the future hold for the James Bond club? So I booked a ticket to around the world to speak and interview with the different presidents of just some of the James Bond clubs that we have. And we're going to just peel away all the layers. Come with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, my first guest in this roundup of James Bond clubs probably needs no introduction. I'm still going to do it, though. Phil Dewhurst, the president of the 007 GB Club. Welcome back.
Hi, David. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm doing well. We're doing sort of a roundup of the year, and I am having a few of the presidents of some of the James Bond clubs from all around the globe. This is a global discussion. And I wanted to kick it off with you because it's hard to argue that your club probably had the most activity this year, but talk to me about it. What kind of year have you had?
It's been crazy. Coming off the back of our launch year, 2023, becoming the largest Bond club by membership was kind of far exceeding any expectations I had. I mean, to be fair to Luke, the president of the French club, he said 100% you will be the biggest club by the end of the year. It will just go gangbusters. We had a whole spread of events for 2023, and we said let's take it a bit easy for 2024. Let's just sit back a little bit, do a few key things. No, we decided to get carried away again and have a cavalcade of events that go through the year. Not only did we have the huge Concord event where we honored Luciano Paluzzi and Vic Armstrong, we then did what could be arguably equally a size of event for a lunch with Britt Eklund and Maud Adams, and peppered in with all the other events, which takes us as a club to over the 2 years to 12 sold out events, all of them successful. I mean, it is just crazy.
Well, one of the things, because I've been to many of your events, wish geographically I could make more, but one of the things that I've told people is your persona, and I'll go back to your brand before 007 GB even existed, the Up in the Air Phil, is somebody that truly enjoys, like Bond, the wonderful experiences of life, and even trying to create these experiences that, like Bond, are very high end. And people say, what do you think the secret of the events are? And I said, Phil doesn't know anything but the best. And it's not an obnoxious or a haughty thing to say. No. It's more of you want other people to experiencing these things, so the events should feel the same way. Has that sort of been the vision in your mind?
It's absolutely true. I mean, I could go back right to being a child and coming from a good family, but we weren't wealthy by any stretch. We would maybe have a foreign vacation once every 2 years, and we'd vacation in England for the other times. When I watched Bond, that was escapism. I was seeing champagne. I was seeing these exotic locales. And that's one element of Bond, an element that I enjoy. Some people enjoy the tailoring, some people enjoy the food, but the general top end of what Bond does, I really do enjoy it. And so I thought, currently nobody's servicing that. The other clubs do some wonderful events, particularly the Swiss and the French, and you have great food and great conversations and great guests. But I thought, we're the British club, and we could just really lean into this quite heavily and have some really unique and, for want of a better word, high-end experiences that people may not get the chance. That was the first time I've ever eaten on a warship, a World War II battleship. I mean, we didn't exactly tick the box on the high-end food for that one, but we've learned as we've gone on. Bringing that part of Bond and celebrating that part of Bond was an important component for me.
And I like that you've also created a range. Like, you could have events that break the bank. You've had them, actually, many of them sell out within an hour because they are so reasonable. But on top of that, you've created free events or
Yep.
events that were of very nominal nature.
Mhm.
I assume that was another important part of, again, your mission
Absolutely.
and vision to be inclusive as possible.
Absolutely, because everybody has different stages of their careers, different stages of family, different stages, or different affluence levels, and it's not everything has to be expensive. Yet you can still create a unique experience. And we did that with the bank vault for the Goldfinger event. You know, we had a disused bank vault that everybody could party in, and I think the ticket price was $35, and for that you got a glass of sparkling wine and a buffet evening meal with music and prizes and fun abound. So yeah, you can still create a unique and a high end experience that doesn't break the bank and that everybody can enjoy. We also move around the country, and that's one of the reasons we do that, because we appreciate that if I don't live in London, and every time I come, it costs me hundreds of pounds to do so. So having different locations as well helps with everybody's budgets and allows that inclusivity.
Something, and several people noticed this, not just me, but something happened this year in your second year of the club. You sort of branched out. I mean, the first year was all about events and locations. This year you've branched out. You've done things for the Ian Fleming Foundation. Ian Fleming Publications rather. You've done things with authors. You've done people with celebrity. You've really branched out even beyond the Bond community. Just short, I think, of becoming quote unquote authorized, if you will, because
Yeah.
we right, we'll never be that. But
No, we'll
I,
never be that, but we're getting darn close to it all the time.
I
Yes.
think I think I think that's such an amazing part of, and again, I'll call it this complexity that the club is. It's not just one thing. It's become rather complex in nature.
Oh, definitely. I mean, when I was preparing the end of year accounts and the report to the Charities Commission, there's a relatively small box to explain what the actual activities of the club are so that the Charities Commission can be satisfied.
Good luck.
Thankfully, it says at the bottom, please use overleaf if you need to expand. So, yes. And when I looked at all of the things that we do, yes, it is much more complex than maybe one would have imagined. You've got the membership cards, you've got the members, you've got the cards, you've got the brands, you've got brand associations, like you say, doing a book launch for the current authorized author is a pretty big thing. And we were approached because of how well we'd run our other events, because of the UNICEF cooperation and fundraising as well. That adds something to it. And yeah, we kind of have been doing a bit of everything. And there's more to come as well. That's the exciting thing.
And we'll get to that because I want to tease out 2025 a little bit. Roll it back. There are some people watching this right now, and either A, they didn't even know clubs existed, or B, they probably wonder, a club nowadays? Can I just go on the internet? Tell them exactly, what does a club give you, either physically or even as a community?
Yeah. Well, in the physical sense, you get a magazine, you get a membership, you get discounts, and you get exclusive access to certain things. But the thing that's much greater than that it gives you a connectivity to other people that may share the passion, not just for Bond, but the very niche part of Bond that you like. Whether it be tailoring the books, the locations, whatever it may be. And it connects you with people in not just in your country, but in other countries and in your local area. You know, we had two members that lived 3 streets apart from each other and never knew or never met. And because they both joined the club, they met at an event, at one of our events. I think it was the cafe event by the SIS building.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they realized they were just 3 streets apart, they now go to the pub like on a Thursday evening and they shoot the breeze talking about James Bond. So it gives you a connection to other people that share your passion. That's what a club does. I appreciate that it can look a bit antiquated. Like you say, you can just get all your information from the internet. The clubs of the past, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, they were the information source when the new film was coming out. So that was their function. Our function now is connecting people, raising money, and putting on world-class events where you can meet, get up close and personal with the people who made these films or starred in these films.
One of the great things I've heard from people about the club is so many people who are maybe not used to socializing, either because of the pandemic or just it's not in their personality.
Mhm.
You know, you and I are not wallflowers. It's very natural to us. To people, it isn't. And they, before the events, they have a lot of anxiety because they wonder, am I going to be accepted? Am I going to know anybody? Are they going to just treat me like a pariah? And once they get into the conversation, they find that your events, the club's events, really bring them in. And then the next one after that, they just feel like it's old hat.
Yes, and you even get a situation where two people that didn't know each other before they joined the club, or three people, or four people, or a group, whatever it may be, the further down the line we've got, I found that they've started to request at gala dinners, can we be on the specific table with these people because we had a great time at the last event? And they hadn't, like I said, if it wasn't for the club, they would never have met.
Yeah.
So it's very, it feels warm and fuzzy at night to know that I was a part of or an instigator of that, for sure.
I think, and you let me know if I'm going like all Barbara Walters on you, and I'm probably going to hit a relatively sensitive note, but I've had very personal conversations with you where you've told me as a young man you were bullied,
Mhm.
and a big part of your zeal, enthusiasm, your joy of seeing people feel inclusive and part of belonging and not being judged, especially within the club, is so important to you because of the road that you went was
Mhm.
incredibly rough.
Yeah, that's right. There's nothing worse than feeling like you're not part of the joke or part of the event or part of a clique when seemingly you don't think you've done anything wrong. And mine came about because I had moved cities multiple times through my dad's profession. So I always, for a good number of years, I was joining a group of already 11, 12, 13 people that had been friends since they were 5. So I was always felt like the outsider. And that's why it was important to me for the club, whenever we do events, to make, even if they're a sit down dinner, to have communal parts, to have the drinks reception, to have the after party, to have the build up, so that everybody gets a chance to make a friend, whether they have one or not.
Yeah, and not just in events. I mean, one I'm gonna use. I'll mess up the quotes. I'm sure I'll use a story that our friend Alex Lamas told me. He was saying, and this was just probably about a week ago. He said the one thing he loves about the club, and by the way, I should note that this gentleman is American. He lives like an hour from me,
Yes,
but he's
yes,
still part of the club because it doesn't,
yes.
you know, it reaches everywhere. But one of the things he said to me was he never felt like he had a voice in the Bond community until
That's
he was
interesting.
able to just write an article. And one of the things that people should know is that the magazine and even the monthly articles, the newsletters, are built
Yeah,
by the members, and
yeah,
it's given him a voice and a feeling of honestly relevance.
yeah. No, I get that. I mean, I remember when I was first talking to you about founding this club, and you said, "What's the why?" You know, think about the why. And
Always.
and I think you had said, so you're trying to create it's almost like a with all the articles where all the members can write them, and they all stay on the website in sections. Trying to create almost like a Wikipedia of the Bond community, and to bring everybody in, and that's exactly what we've done, and it's great to hear when people love that.
They do.
Because yeah, I remember another one of our members. He had flown over for the Concord event, and that was the debut of the second issue of the magazine. And he had an article in it, and he was straight away opening up. He was FaceTiming his kids back home to show them that his dad had an article in a real James Bond magazine. And isn't that great? Isn't that just great?
I love that. Everybody gets something different out of it, whether they're in close proximity or not. Um, the problem, the problem with success and the
Mhm.
club success is the bar keeps going like this. So, Phil, this is the portion of this video where I have to tease everybody out and ask, where is your brain? Where is the group's brain as far as 2025?
Well, notwithstanding actually having the gala dinner in space, we thought perhaps a really good road to go down is to join with the other clubs and to create a really one-off super super scale event in Europe, not in England this time, but in France. And the other presidents, they jumped at this. They thought it was a great idea. And the strength that we can have in numbers like that can really offer something different. So I won't talk about all the details of it, but we have already teased that it's going to be in Chantilly at the castle. So the location's already sorted. That's an absolutely gorgeous location for anybody to visit, whether they're a Bond fan or not. But now it's my job to come up with elements that we've not done before, but that are appealing to people, which is what we're currently working on. And so what people will see at this event is familiar elements, completely new and unfamiliar elements, not done at a fan club Bond event before.
Oh, wow. Now, would this take the place of 007 GB's like major gala event for 2025?
For 2025, this will form the larger scale event we will do, but we will still do another sort of Operation Solex scale event in the UK. So people are still getting what would be considered a larger than any other club event from us, but they're also getting this one on top. So this will, in effect, this will be our Belfast Concord event. And you could say our Belfry and Solex event is the one that we'll be doing here later in the year. So this joint event will be in May, and then we will look to do something September, October, maybe close to James Bond Day next year for our secondary event in and around the UK.
It's interesting too, because knowing obviously behind the scenes of the club, I do know that I'll call them some of the smaller events. They're no less impressive and impactful, but the smaller events sometimes happen very quickly with short notice. I don't think people realize that it sometimes could be just weeks, not months of planning. So 2025 probably has some, I'll call them unidentified events in the future.
It certainly does. Currently we have 5 events in here, and 1 extra for the large one, and they will all be different scales, from free to $35 to a few $100 event again.
Now you're burgeoning out to France. It seems historically appropriate that England would invade France.
Correct.
So might we, and again keeping historically, might 007 GB invade the US in 2025 to do an event?
We definitely, one of the events that we have is going to be an American event. Yes.
I have no excuse not to attend that.
Yeah. And sometimes I'll just go back to something you said about events can happen very quickly. Sometimes we might have, the stars might align on a celebrity and they're in a certain place that we can have them at a certain time. So that's why sometimes things get spooled up quickly. The benefit of having one in the US is I have great relationships with a lot of the Bond stars out there. And it's not prohibitively expensive to move the chess pieces around in America the same way as it is bringing each one of them over here. So we've got such a large American membership now. 25% of our membership is American now. Wow. So good luck to anybody who thinks of starting a club in America, because you'll be competing with the best, I'm afraid.
That number is going to go up to 50% after this video. You'll see.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Especially when they realize there's going to be a world-class event held in the US as well in 2025.
That's right. That's right. Now, here's how I want to end this shindig, because it's a great update. But you said something earlier that one of the key pillars of, and maybe even the core pillar of the club, is to raise money. Number one, can you tell us a little bit about who you're raising the money for and what are you up to now?
Sure. So in honor of the memory of Sir Roger being a UNICEF ambassador, UNICEF has been our chosen charity. Initially, we considered moving the charities around, but we've created such a close working relationship with UNICEF that we will just keep that as our core charity. As that's it for the club. We will do dabble in other areas where we can donate, but that's our core. And UNICEF have been nothing but supportive, and it's very rare for an entity such as ourselves to get this level of cooperation and access, and to be able to use the logo, things like that. Yeah. So right now, as it stands, not even at the end of year 2, We are at £53,576.88. So to convert that for Americans, that's around $68,000 the club has raised or donated in less than 2 years. I mean, that's incredible to say that we've had all this fun.
Yeah.
The club has been kept afloat financially, and everything's been serviced. We have 12 events, brought people together, created the largest club in the world, and raised $68,000 for UNICEF in the process. Incredible.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. One of the things I happen to know, again, behind the scenes, is UNICEF is over the moon. I mean, they're over the moon, have association with a James Bond club.
Mm-hmm.
There's that moniker, obviously, feather in their cap. But the fact that this has been so robust, it's not, I'm just going to say it because you can't, it's not cute. No. It's not like, oh, this club is cute. Like they raised $600 and they've given us, no. This is a monolith, and there's more to come. And that's what I love about the trajectory. You're doing good by the people in the bond community. You're doing good by kind of the world itself through donations, etc. There's a lot of good going on here.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we ran in one of our magazines what the amount we'd raised so far converted into what UNICEF could provide. And I think I'm right in saying at this level, we're at 500,000 life-saving salts that literally, when they're given to somebody in Africa or in some other region, in the Yemen, wherever it may be, that saves their life there and then. I mean, that's significant. You know, to us, $68,000 won't go a long way in the US or the UK, but overseas for these charities, it really, really can. So hundreds of thousands of people's lives have been changed by the Bond community coming together, celebrating James Bond. Being generous, you know, our members are so generous. I've watched them buy things they don't even want because they just want to donate and they want to be part of it. So I'm really happy, and UNICEF are happy, and the board and the members seem very happy with what we're doing and where we're going.
It sounds dramatic for me to say this, but you and I have known each other for a while. It's legacy creating. It really is legacy. It's not just having fun. My very, very last question.
Sure.
My very last question is about you, because when you were thinking about doing this and you called me and a few other friends, I said, look, man, no matter what happens, no matter how much grizzle any leader gets, you got to be having fun. Phil, are you still having fun?
I'm still having an absolute blast. Honestly, it was one of the greatest honors of my life to become the president of this club, to do what I'm doing. Not everybody sees. They'll see me running around at an event, getting stressed or not being stressed or having a good time, but they don't see the really nice moments where I get an email or a letter or a text or a handshake or a meet and greet moment from one of the members who say, thank you for doing this. You have changed my life in such and such a way. The board have changed my life in such and such a way. Or you've made my dreams come true. So yeah, I'm having fun. I'm having fun. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Listen, my friend, we'll let you go, but thank you so much for, as the quote says behind you, keeping the British end up.
My absolute pleasure. Thanks, David. Good to see you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're not imagining this. All the way from Ireland, Paul Lally is back. How are you, sir?
I'm well. Through the magic of the internet, I have arrived in Philadelphia. Where Pennsylvania, isn't it? Sorry.
Well, I'm just above Philadelphia. It's close enough.
Philadelphia.
It's pretty far from Ireland. That's all you need to know.
It is pretty far, yeah. But in an amazing turn of events, we actually have sunshine for today, which is really nice over here in Dublin. So
that is crazy.
It's cold, but there is
snowing yet or no?
It has snowed. It has snowed, but not here. Kevin O'Callaghan, who's a member of the Bond JBCI group, who lives below in the Rebel County in Cork, he had a snow-covered vista this morning when he got up, and he posted a picture up and said, see you back at the lodge, which is very appropriate. We don't often get the opportunity to say that, so it's very nice.
By the way, for those tuning in, this is what you're going to get from the Irish fan club. It's just weather reports. That's it.
That's what we do. It's exciting to us. We see sun, we see snow. It's a big deal. If it's not gray, we're happy, you know?
Paul, we got to start off by kind of reintroducing you, because I know that currently you have moved into the position of president. And because of that, you know, a lot of crosses to bear with that. But one of them has to be, of course, describing what exactly the club has evolved into. Can you give us a little taste of that?
Absolutely, yes. So, as you say, I am president. That has been, I would say, slightly self-appointed, slightly elected. We'll deal with that later. Yeah, I'll just go back to the start of the club. So you know me, I've been around for a while. I've been sort of, hanging around the edges of the Bond community, checking in. And one of the people who recognized this and reached out to me was a guy called John Lennon a few years ago. And I got a message from John Lennon in my messenger, and I thought, well, that's spam. So I ignored it. But months later, I thought, actually, I noticed that he had it in Irish. So Sean O'Lannon is the Irish version of John Lennon. I thought, maybe he's not. And I checked into him as this guy who'd reached out and said, you know what, I'm trying to get fans together within Ireland. There are so many really good Bond clubs out there that the community is going through a golden period. Do you want to get together? We'll just do something. A few of us will have a screening, right? So I said, yeah, why not do that, And Monica, my wife, was more than happy to get me out of the house for the weekend. So we went out and we met. We did a screening. The first screening was on Her Majesty's Secret Service, and Sean turned out to be this absolutely wonderful guy, really, really authentic, very, very knowledgeable, real deep cut Bond fan. Was big into his collectibles and was big into screenings and so forth. So we instantly hit it off, and he's the kind of guy that just people were drawn to him, and they came to more screenings. We started to talk about more stuff. We were looking what other clubs were doing. We're like, hey, maybe we could look at books, maybe we could look at get-togethers and stuff like that. And then we started to get the attention, people like yourself, people like friends in the UK, friends in other places, and I remember AJ Chowdhury, who's a good friend of mine. He said to me, goes, there's an untapped space out there for the connections between James Bond and Ireland, and you should really tap into that. So we started to look at that, and we continue to look at that. And before you know it, we had we had social media presence with people interested in becoming part of it. And we were like, well, okay, where are all these people coming from? Because if you grow up in Ireland, kind of, you often feel like you're the only Bond fan in the village. and then you get connected and you go, wow, there's lots of people, and they're from the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. And for those of you who don't really know what that's about, have a quick Google, it'll explain it to you. But it's, we've got people from all over the island, and we've got people from outside, from other countries going, I have Irish family and I love James Bond. So this is an interesting connection for me. Or even people who used to live here and now live abroad. So suddenly we had people interested in being a community within a community, if it were. So we thought, full steam ahead here. So that's where we came. And John was the leader of that. But then, unfortunately, as you know, we lost John. John was ill for a number of years and passed away this summer, and we all dearly miss him. So I have stepped into what I did not realize were incredibly large boots, because I've had to have guys helping me out to do the amount of stuff that he seemed to be able to do. So that's where we are right now.
It's kind of amazing to me, because I've known you for years as an individual.
Yeah.
And then I remember going to Ireland, and you all so generously hosted me as just welcoming to your committee. And I felt like one of the boys, so to speak. And
good.
I remember feeling this coming back to my hotel that night, and my wife Danielle asked me, how did everything go? And I said, honestly, I felt like I was meeting up with a group of people that I've known for over a decade, and they were just like, yeah, David, sit down and have a malt, have a beer. I took that back and sort of scratched my head and said, why isn't this bigger? Like, why isn't this group attracting more and more people? If I lived within even an hour distance from you guys, I'd probably be doing this every 2 weeks and getting into major trouble. And this germ, if you will, of an idea, I know that you took this very seriously, but something happened, and this is where you're going to be overly humble, but I don't want to draw it out of you. Something happened not too long ago in London when you started going to events, and there was a whisper of you being president. And tell me about the support and the feedback you received about that.
I will, but I'm just going to take a second to rewind a little bit and say I'm so glad that you enjoyed your trip to Ireland. And you'll notice that the first thing that I did when you said you were coming to Ireland was I immediately hightailed it out of here and went to the States. So we missed each other on that trip.
We did.
But the guys were delighted to see you, and I know that they really enjoyed it. And I think you know, your comments is very, very warm and kind, and they mirrored what Joe Darlington had said as well. He enjoyed the. We have this word in Irish called crack, and I don't mean to alarm anyone in America. It's not what you think. It's CRAIC,
Yeah.
right? I've often wanted to go to the States and open a pub called the Crack House, but I don't think it would go down so well.
Release the kraken, a kraken there.
Exactly, yeah. So it's this kind of word that means, when you're sort of exuberant and buoyant and caught up in the moment, and there's a lot of good atmosphere and camaraderie and sort of belly laughs and everyone's having fun. And that's really what we try to bring. We try to bring that to the community, and that's kind of our brand that we want to push out there as well. If you love James Bond, if you love a bit of crack and you want to have fun, then get involved. And I didn't realize that was kind of resonating a little bit more. And then I was invited to go by 007GB. We were invited to go to the wonderful operation. Remind me what it was called?
Solex.
Operation Solex,
Yeah.
thank you, which was, of course, the Man with the Golden Gun celebration, where we met, amongst others, we met the wonderful Britt Eklund and Maud Adams. Had a superb time there. And, of course, we met tons of the Bond community, the people that you're always familiar with. And people are like, wow, they start asking me stuff about the group, asking me information on who we were, what we were doing. They were so interested. And these are people like who are, I'm talking about, the Calvin Dysons of the world, and many other really established figures within the community. And they were very, very interested to connect. I think they just, they understand that if you're putting out a sort of a positive vibe, you want to get people talking, you want to get people together, that they can work with you, if you like, And Phil Dewhurst, obviously, who heads up 007GB, was extremely generous and had us, brought us to the forefront and said, you want to be, maybe you and he both said to me, maybe put a little bit more structure around this. And I thought, yeah, we definitely want to grow it. We want to move it forward. We want to start doing bigger and better things. We know that there's an interest there. People are reaching out to me all the time, asking me about excuses to come to Ireland. I'm like, well, what better than bring your family and join us for a James Bond event? So those are the types of things we're thinking about. So what we did was we put a structure around it. I'm the president, for want of a less megalomaniacal term, and I have a group of people really committed, great people, Sean O'Hare, Kevin O'Callaghan, and a number of other people, Andy Watson, who are behind me helping put this stuff together and coordinate it. And we have so much stuff that we're interested in doing. People want to be involved in, and I can talk to you about what we're doing for 2025 and stuff. But I hope that answers your question. That's kind of where it came out of. We were just excited to see so much support, love, and enthusiasm from the rest of the global Bond community for James Bond Club Ireland.
And well deserved. And one of the things I said to you probably a few times, but I'll say it again, it's worth it publicly, is, like it or not, these clubs thrive off of somebody, an individual that has a larger than life personality. And you do. And it needs to start with that. You have table stakes, what I call the foundation. You have to be passionate about Bond. You're gonna work your ass off. So you got to be open to doing that and taking the responsibility. But at the heart of it, you are here to galvanize, like you said, very aptly, a community within a community. And in doing that, you can't really be a wallflower. So, you've done impressions before. They're amazing, by the way.
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, perfect. And then on top of that, though, you've always integrated yourself within the larger Bond community very naturally. Now, I think you're waving the banner of Ireland in association with Bond. So I have a direct question or two to ask you about that, because you said I could talk, about 2025. I would like to hear, what are the plans before we get into even like how do people get involved? But what are some of the plans for 2025?
So the plans for 2025. Well, first of all, we're rounding out this year with a couple of more things. We've got another screening. The World Is Not Enough obviously has an anniversary this year. We're going to do that. We're going to do a Christmas quiz at the end of the year, and we're going to do a book club. So we have this thing where we call it M's Library.
Oh, nice.
And our idea is to try to not emulate some of the things that you have done, like you've gone through the books and done reviews with other people, and there are plenty of people doing great versions of that. But we thought we'd focus on an idea of maybe like what are some of the themes in the books? Because they're so great, like friendship, like Bond, Britain and America, their geopolitical status in the 1950s when this stuff was being written, the relationships. I mean, it's fascinating for us, right? But one of the things that we also do, and I know I owe you an answer to that direct question. One of the things we're also trying to do is we're trying to be accessible and open for people who may not have touched the books yet, right? So we don't want to overwhelm them and say, oh, we're going into the geopolitics of 1950s. Like we may do that, but we're also going, you know what? If you enjoyed Timothy Dalton or Daniel Craig or Sean Connery or whatever, try these books. They're great. And if you've done Fleming and you want to go a little bit further, try Raymond Benson. Try some of the other continuation orders.
Yeah.
We're trying to be a little bit sort of open for everyone. So we might not be as in depth as some of the groups, but we're trying to get, you know, people who've come into it like via the games to try something else, via the films to try something else. So that's kind of our goal. And we're also trying to really get the Irish connection out there because, believe it or not, there are quite a few of them. And a little bit tangential sometimes, but they are really cool. So next year, we are going to do more of the same in terms of what we've done. We've done screenings, we've done get-togethers. We're going to be do them in different parts of Ireland. So we've done that before, going to Kilkenny, to Cork, to Belfast, to Dublin. So if you're around in those places, look out for our updates on what we've got organized. Come down. We'll be, we'll be doing stayovers and stuff like that. We're toying with the idea, haven't gotten there yet. We're toying with the idea of doing a trip. And,
Ooh.
we may see that because, we've seen it be done so successfully before, and our group has expressed interest in doing that and commitment towards it. So word on that to come. But also, we are looking into unearthing, if you're interested in the connection between Ireland, we're unearthing more and more stuff to do with that. So actors and cast and crew who've been involved in the films who have Irish connections. Did you know, for example, that Robert Shaw lived in Ireland? Did you know that Walter Gotell had a farm in Ireland? Did you know that Joanna Harwood, who wrote Dr. No, is from Ireland? Obviously, we have a couple of perceived villains in the Bond family, Kevin McClory and Ronan O'Rahilly, who influenced George Lazenby. So there's a lot of this stuff that we investigate, that we just put out there. And, for the real people who are into the real deep cuts, these are sort of interesting connections that we want to highlight.
You're forgetting the most important one, and that is that Guinness is seen in The Man with the Golden Gun.
Guinness is in a poster for The Man with the Golden Gun. You are absolutely right.
Not just a poster; it's in the movie.
That's true. That's true.
He drinks it. It's the very first scene.
Yes,
and right there and then. I mean, look. I'm not saying Guinness is a character, but he's nearly a character.
Look, try not to scupper my sponsorship deal with Guinness that I'm working on right now.
Quite the opposite. But, I think I just enhanced it.
You did enhance it. Yeah, exactly.
One of the things you just painted for us too, and I want to acknowledge it, is that I like the fact that, yes, you are planning things in and around Ireland, potential trips outside of that for everybody that wants to get involved. But what I love about this, just envisioning 2025, is, of course, there's going to be big Bond events going on. There's going to be celebration of anniversaries. Inadvertently, there will be members of your club attending those, and even just seeing people in T-shirts or wearing the tote bags, or just right there and then, very fetching. But just seeing a group come together as a group, that is one of the key reasons why people watch a channel like this or get together. Is this feeling of relevance and belonging is so tight. And if that is the core of your group, sign me up.
Listen, I couldn't agree with you more. And I genuinely, can't emphasize enough, like, since coming into this community in my middle age, I have met so many good friends, genuinely good friends. And I mean, even more recently, I was speaking to some of the guys from James Bond Switzerland and James Bond Germany, and they were like, wow. And I was speaking a little German to them, and they were like, oh, and they were speaking back to me. And I was like, this is great fun. And I want to create this for Ireland. And when we were in Ireland, I think a lot of people sometimes, they see, one of the things they do is they see people who are big personalities and they go, okay, maybe that's not for me. And I'm like, it absolutely is for you. Come on in, the water's warm kind of thing. Just participate in a discussion, come to an event. It's very, very nice. People are very, very welcoming, and I think that's one of the things that we want to put out there. The events are absolutely great. You feel good after them. You feel that sense of belonging, and we're really trying to foster that. It's got to be a very positive atmosphere. Obviously, there are people who love to come with their strong opinions, and we like that. But
Yeah,
it has to
great.
be in a positive environment. I mean, you know what I like? I really like when someone goes, you know what? Actually, I do really like insert controversial opinions. For
Yeah.
example, I watched a guy do a video on how he loved Eric Serra's music for GoldenEye, and I was like, I want to hear more about that, you know. So yeah, there's one out there. I'll forward that
That
on to you.
person needs help.
But you know what? It's just these daring to be different, have a
Yeah.
fun opinion, have an interesting take. Like, bring it on. We love it, you know. One of the things, of course, that we'll be looking forward to next year is it is the I'm going to say 30th anniversary of the Irish James Bond, Pierce Brosnan's first outing. So, of
Yes, it
course,
is.
we're going to look to celebrate that in style. We're trying to get this will be we're going to try and get a screening in his hometown of Navan, which
Ooh,
one of our members is from. So that's going to be fun. We're going to
that'd
have
be
to look out for that as well.
amazing.
Yeah.
Quick thing too, because I want to create a call to action for people. Besides
Yes.
events, I know that people can engage literally on a daily basis. You've got a very active social channel. Is that the
We're going to
best
get
way
more.
for people to kind of quote unquote become part of the community?
Absolutely. I think two main ones we have right now are Instagram and Facebook. So John started Facebook. It's obviously that's our sort of main hub. That's where we got about 700 followers right now, and people are actively engaging in it. But we also have Instagram, where you're a very good Instagram follower, and we want to get better at that. We want to post up little updates, just little snapshots here and there, and then contribute on a sort of a fluid basis, just to show, hey, we're alive, and guess what, this is happening and that's happening and so forth. So that's great fun. We recently joined the Blue Sky thing just for a bit of chat to see what that goes on. It seems to be some people are getting interested in it. I never really got traction on X, so I'm going to see how that works out. But we also started TikTok, and the reason I
You
did that is
should.
because it's kind of like a lot of for younger Bond fans look at that, and one of the reasons we did it was John's daughter, Eilish, like Billie Eilish. She was wonderful, and she would always come to the events, and she's a teenager. And, she said, I don't really follow you on social media. And then I started TikTok, and she goes, finally, you're on something that I look at. So I was like, well, okay, why not engage younger Bond fans as well? And we just put up little updates and videos on there. So traction is a little slower there, but Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and a nascent stage of Blue Sky as well. Please do get in touch with us. Please give us your suggestions, your opinions, your thoughts, your love, your controversial opinions. We'll take them all.
Well, Paul, thank you so much for keeping the Irish end up. We're going to put all the links down below, and I'm looking
Yes.
forward to seeing you at the whatever next event we cross
Me
our paths
too,
on.
David. It was tremendous seeing you in London. You were very, very busy. MC, that job you did, we all thought was great, and what a great
Okay.
show Cue the Music put on for us. So we really loved it. And thank you for taking the time to talk to us today. Talk to
You
me.
got it, man. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, David.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're heading to the beautiful land of Germany to meet up with my good friend Marcel Bauer. Marcel, how are you today?
Hey David, doing very fine. Thank you for having me. How are you
I'm
doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I see your Christmas decorations behind you. Very nice.
Yeah,
It's that time
it's
of year.
almost that time. Yeah, exactly. So I always put out on the Majesties. It's ready to be watched on Christmas Eve,
You
as
know,
always.
it's so funny too, because everybody that I speak to says they have the tradition of watching Majesties. I actually go the totally opposite way. Instead of watching a Bond film with snow and ice, I watch Thunderball because
Ah,
I want to get away. I want to be like, a warm vacation. Does that make sense?
yeah, sure. And actually, it's my most favorite one. So
Ooh,
I used to watch it during the summertime because then I just can go out and try to get the same feeling. As,
yes.
but I have to be honest, Germany is not exactly like the Bahamas, but we do what we can.
I thought it was exactly like the Bahamas. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
almost.
But Marcel, we got to break things down because, correct me if I'm wrong, how long was it ago that you took up the president responsibilities of the fan club in Germany?
It's not even a year now. So in
Wow.
April, I took over from Andreas. So yeah, still very fresh. I'm in my introductory year, you could say. So
That's
Yeah.
why you're still smiling. It's still fresh and new, right?
Yeah, but look at my eyes. Already look tired. So
Oh, and you're such a young
yeah.
man. Well, let's break it down because I always like to talk about the journey, especially of, some of the newer presidents really trying to create something special, a new type of experience. So, how were you even approached to become the president?
Well, actually, it went slowly but steady, you could say. So I joined the club in 2019, if I remember correctly, during COVID,
Mhm.
because I needed something to do, and I always, yeah, watched what the club was doing. And I said, okay, why not just joining and try to, yeah, get at least online contacts, new online friends that share the same hobby. Um, yeah, and as soon as COVID passed by, luckily we joined more and more events, meetings, gatherings here in Germany, and yeah, as I participated more and more, there were some ideas I wanted to contribute. I wanted to
Mm.
have the club organizing things, and I always said that to the board. And then they just one day, the one and the other person came to me and say, "Look, we're looking for a new president next year. Up to you." And I
Yeah.
said, "Ah, okay." I thought it was a joke, and then it became reality.
Yeah. And Andreas, I mean, he was an amazing president, so much passion and emotion to it. And the one thing that I need to find out from you and your sort of passion and desire for this, was there something that you were itching to do as the president? When you think about, I'm going to take on this role because I want to do this particular thing, or I want to see the club turn into this. Was there a vision behind your passion?
Yeah, so actually there was a vision which I'm still working on in my first year. I think it will be a long-term vision. So when I told you I watched the club or I monitored what they did in the past for quite a long time without joining, I was always a bit hesitant because um, it seemed like an old group of friends, you could say, which
Yeah.
know each other quite well. And you see clubs. I think it's with many clubs. You see clubs, and you think from the outside, okay, do I fit in?
Yeah.
Is it maybe too? I don't know. I wouldn't say elite, but is it too far away from where I usually tend
Yeah.
to
A
hang out?
click, like
Yeah,
a group that you
exactly,
cannot penetrate.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and when I decided to join the club, and then I found out how nice these people are, how many fun things they're doing. I said, okay, if I become president, I want to try to make the club not just more visible, maybe, but more open, that
Yeah.
others that maybe are also hesitant like I was will just say, okay, looks fun, let's just give it a try. And after all, if you don't like it, you can leave the club again. So you're not signing in for lifetime. So
Yeah.
that's what I want to do. I want to have an open approach towards the fan world, let's say, and to try to be more active on social media, try to give a bigger stage that everyone can see what the club is doing, and hopefully, one or the other would like to join. So it would be
I
my
love
number
that.
one goal.
I love that. I often tell people that's what I call approachability. Can
Hmm.
you approach this group? And I even get it at some of my gatheralls. I have people come up to me a few hours into like a gatherall or a weekend event, and they confess, if you will. They say, I was very nervous. I had a lot of anxiety because
Yeah,
I didn't know if I would come here and just stand in the corner by myself, if it would be like, school where people are having
hmm,
lunch together and you God forbid you sit at, somebody's table that doesn't invite
yeah,
you. But I think the Bond community as a whole, they're just such a welcoming group that your key in is not a club membership and it's not geography and it's not language or culture. Do you like Bond? And if you like Bond, that
exactly.
is the secret password for everybody to just embrace you.
Totally right, and that's what I also found out before I became a president, and also now, because I traveled quite a lot this year, met with all my fellow presidents and with the other clubs, with other Bond fans. You always have James Bond as the like you said, at the key, as the entry point, and then after 10 minutes, you're just talking hobbies, families, friendships, whatever, this vacation destination, all these kind of things. And you just make so many new friends through Bond, right? And that's the thing why I would like more people to just come out of their corner or out of their behind their whatever, and try to just approach people where they may be interested in talking Bond, whatever, be it in the US, be it in England, Germany, wherever. There's so many Bond friends.
Just bring them all.
I think, and I would say 99% of them at least are fine, nice people. So
absolutely,
that's why I like what I do right now with the German club. Yeah.
And the 1% that aren't are a work in progress. That's what I like to say.
That's our job to confess them.
Exactly. One of the things, and the Christmas tree is a perfect prop to discuss this, because I want to look back on 2024, but also when this video comes out, it's going to be a brand new year, 2025. So let's start with looking back on 2024 as the president. What are the things that you're most proud of that you and the club did this year?
Most proud of, I would say, so what I told you, I think we already became more visible, more active, be it on Instagram, be it on Facebook, be it even via WhatsApp. There's so many international Bond groups, whatever. And when I see myself or other members being at other events, some other club members from the other clubs are coming to our events, that's what is really my highlight, when I see that everyone is just interacting with each other. And I would have to say my first really event that I planned for this year, I took it over from our dear Wolfgang. So I planned my first event in Vienna this year. So we did a location tour. We had the Living Daylights locations. We visited the 007 Action Vienna exhibit. Also, we took a ride in the original tram, which was used in the Living Daylights, where Bond and Kara just had the ride. And actually, when I came back, it was a bit stressful, I have to admit. The planning, the taking care about 30 people, that everyone is at the right spots when we have to meet in a foreign city. And when we went back, everyone was smiling, which is not always easy because you have a diverse group of people and not everyone likes, I don't know, running around the city a lot. The other one would like to have more breaks in between, whatever. And everyone was so happy in the end. And then I said, okay, I think that's why I'm doing that for, because it's a bit stressful in between. But if you see happy faces, and if you, then you're just getting very, I would say very pleased with seeing all these happy members, fans, whatever. That was my small highlight. It was just a weekend event, but I
always tell people that the equity of life is not money, it's happiness. And the best leaders that I've seen in these clubs, they think about everybody else's happiness. Like, how do I lift people up? Because at the heart of it, Bond is about escapism, right? It's why I have my channel. I want people to escape. I want to escape for a little bit from the stress and pressure. So if you can create a smile, it's already a job well done. But how are you creating smiles and happiness in 2025? Can you give us a sneak peek?
I think one of the big ones many know already. At least we did some spoiler and save the date announcements. So all 4 clubs, the French, the Swiss, the English, and the German, will create a nice event in France at Chantilly. So we'll put everything in the anniversary to A View to Kill. That will be our biggest event. So we didn't plan a James Bond Fan Club Germany only event in that scale, let's say. I think that will be a big one. We are in the middle of planning that. I just had a call with my fellow president over the past weeks. That will be a big one. What I'm also looking forward, I hope it will bring a smile to many of our members, that our club magazine will be, pretty much updated to a new new layout, new look, you
Ooh,
could say, a
wow.
little bit of new functions. We're also in the middle of that right now, so it will be published end of Feb, March, something like that.
Nice.
So these are the biggest two things I'm working on right now together with my board members, and I really hope that people will like it, and that's what I'm really looking forward to.
Nice. I'm actually going to be in Germany at the end of January, beginning of February, because my wife and I are going to Austria, to Solden, to do
Ah, nice.
skiing and spa and snowshoeing and cross-country skiing and all these things around the Solden area to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of Spectre. And we're landing in Munich, for those Americans. And then we're also going to be staying in München for maybe 2 or 3 days. So let's have a big event in München in February.
Actually, we do think about a few other things. We usually we call it an action day. So a day where bond members can join, a day full of bond, I would say bondish actions, bondish activities. And there are different cities in our minds. One would be Munich, no one knows yet. But also one would be my area where I'm coming from. It's the Hanover area. So yeah, we're still in the planning, but why not?
See, an action day. I'm in. I'm in, my friend.
And I think Munich is a nice destination for you at this time of the year. So as
Yeah.
long as the planes are flying with snowy weather, everything is fine. But usually they do.
Oh, did you get a lot of snow already?
No, nothing. We just have rain. We have typical English weather, you could say.
We'll have to live with that.
Yeah.
Listen, my friend, this has been fantastic. We're going to be looking forward to everything that you're doing. We'll leave something in the comments below where people can sign up and become a part of the amazing club that you help support. But thank you for everything that you do. We love it.
Thanks very much, David. Thank you for inviting me to this. And also thanks to you, because we all know what you are doing and what you're putting up daily. Yeah, and it really keeps people together, right? This and what you're doing, what we are doing, what all the other creators are doing. Yeah, it's really a nice bunch of people and friends you make along this road of Bond fandom. Yeah.
I agree. Well, auf Wiedersehen.
Perfect.
Is
See
that
you
all right?
soon. Take care and have a nice holidays.
Thank you, my friend.
Bye bye.
Okay, now our travels take us to one of the most beautiful places in the world. I see the sunny snow-capped peaks of Switzerland before me. So that could mean only one thing. We've got to introduce you to the man himself, Marcus Hardman, president of the Swiss Fan Club. How are you, Marcus?
Hello, David. Thanks for having me. I'm doing fine. While we're talking here in my lunch break. So yeah, the weekend is approaching. So all good so far.
Nice. And by the way, I love the fact that you are sporting your Swiss Fan Club button. That is the logo, right?
Bit publicity can't harm, no? It's not very discreet. I like that. I just wanted to dress up for the occasion.
Yeah.
I'm wearing Bond socks. I'm not going to show that, but you have to believe me.
I thought you were wearing maybe boxer shorts.
Familiar too. It was just to get a bit. You know that one.
You're totally bonded out. I love it.
Finally, my very first Omega. I mean, being Swiss with Omega, I always felt like being left out, but now I'm part of the club.
Well, we're going to start with that because, this is something very big because, I've always loved what you and the Swiss club have done, but also the location. I think out of maybe all the fan clubs, people really align James Bond to Switzerland because so much of James Bond has happened, not just with the movies, but with the books as well and with the history. So let's go back a little bit because we're really painting the picture of these clubs to people. When did you become president? And I have to ask you, why did you want to become president?
Oh, how long do we have?
Yeah.
Make a long story short, to answer your first question, I'm in my 12th year as president. Wow. We have our next General Assembly is on the 16th of March. So okay. we are not going to be elected like your new president for 4 years at least. We have to prove ourselves that we are worthy every year. So there's an election every year. And 16 will be the next one. If they want me once more, then I would be in my 13th year, and I would break the record of my predecessor who has done 12 years. So a small goal trying to achieve.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, that's
And so,
part
I
of it.
mean, this opportunity is put before you. Do they tell you right from the beginning what it is to be the president of this club?
No idea.
No.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
The thing is that brings me to your second question, actually. We were having an event from the James Bond Club Switzerland in the Furka Pass and in Andermatt, where they were shooting Goldfinger, obviously. And in the evening, we're staying at the bar of the Burger Deal, the same one where Sean Connery stayed during the shooting. And at the bar of the one, maybe it was free vodka martini, I can't really remember. The former vice president and a colleague, they took me aside and said, we need to talk with you about something. I said, yeah, go ahead. So yeah, we observed you the last years. I was a normal member then at that time. And I said, we really would like to have you on board because you don't look too ugly and you are sophisticated, speak a few languages, whatever. And what do you think? And, at this time, I said, yeah, sure. I mean, and the next day I'm thinking, what have I done? But it was too late to pull out. So they said, obviously, we can't have you like the first year as a president because people need to get to know you first. But the former president was about to step down. So I was working 1 year as a consultant for the club. Still don't know what was my actual job to do. I had two major tasks: to get a birthday cake for the General Assembly and to send out all the Christmas cards to the members.
Oh, okay.
Two big things. Now I have requests every day, so it's different now. So 1 year consultant, and afterwards I got elected as president. And I'm saying, as far as they still want me, as long as I still have fun doing it, I'm here.
I think, but I think that's an important place to pause, because one of the things I've observed, and I've been a part of the club and friends with you for many, many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
Even our wives are friends together. We've done things. We've
that's
vacationed together. It's your passion. I mean, yes, there's a club behind it, and yes, we're going to talk about the magazine and the events and the trips. But at the heart of this, I feel like it's about the people. And there are multiple people that are part of the Swiss fan club, not just people from Switzerland, but from all around the world, like us Americans. But how much of this has to start with the passion behind James Bond and also your location?
Oh, I think that's the essence of everything at the end of the day, because without passion, we wouldn't be able to do it, because it's all. People sometimes tend to forget that we don't get paid for what we're doing. No. It's all in our free time, and we set ourselves high standards. That's maybe sometimes a problem. If you do a good job, people expect you every year to be at least equal or even better. Yeah. And then at some point, people are surprised that the prices also got higher. And I said, listen, the problem is really the expectations are huge. But if we want to invite guests, we don't have many Bond guests living in Switzerland. The cost for transportation, for accommodation, usually you have to pay a fee, blah, 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 blah. And but obviously the combination of having guests who worked on the movie, bringing back to the original movie location, I think that's very appealing to most of the fans, of the members. And that's what we are here for. And luckily, as you mentioned before, we are really lucky to have several original movie locations, being a small country, but we are blessed having a few movie locations from different Bond movies, such as Goldfinger, probably most people know best, or on Her Majesty's Secret Service, I always like to call it the Holy Grail for location hunters, at least for me, with Beats Gloria.
Well, I think you're right with that. Yeah.
I think, others have favorite. I mean, James Bond Island, obviously, and many others. But it's a very nice, unique point. And even me, at least once a year, I'm trying to go back on top, because it always, I feel like You're closer to heaven already.
But it's a great point, because I have a lot of people that are sort of middle of the line Bond fans who are just
Yeah.
starting to do location trips, and I always tell them, because they say, where should I go? What's the first place I should go? And I say, listen, there isn't a bad Bond location spot that I've been to. I like them all, but if you were to choose one to start with that will ruin everything else you do, you go to Piz Gloria, you go to the Schilthorn. And most of all, you go to Switzerland, because I said, you're not only going to fall in love with the Bond location, you're going to fall in love with the people, the culture, the food, the air, the nature, everything about it.
It's great. I use it as general information if I do location tour on my own in Switzerland or abroad, because usually you're not going only to the location itself. You take advantage of all the beautiful surroundings. So even with my wife, sometimes I say, let's go there on holidays, and say, there's no Bond location. There might be, but in all fairness, it's located at a beautiful beach in a beautiful hotel. So that's helpful if you have a partner who is maybe not 200% addicted to Bond, but
That's right.
that's a big advantage.
Yeah, bringing the Bond lifestyle to Switzerland. I mean, that's the way to go. What I'm curious too, because each of the presidents have sort of said, what are the clubs themselves? What do they offer? Can you give us an idea, even at a high level? What does the Swiss club deliver? Is it magazines? Is it events? What is it about?
Yeah, well, all of that. First of all, you know a bit about our club. I mean, we were founded. Next year, we're celebrating, by the way, our 30th jubilee, which we're looking already forward a lot and already have some plans. I mean, we're still beginning of 25, but you can't wait until the next year. So we have plans for 2026. If you have time, I'm happy to talk about what is not secret yet. But for the club itself, we have a membership for 60 Swiss francs, which at the moment, with the secret, the only ones who offer the same price for everyone, for Europeans, for Swiss, even for our members in the States and Japan or Canada. So I think it's quite fair. We do have a magazine. Compared with other clubs, we only have one magazine per year, done usually for members, everything connected to Bond. It doesn't need to be every time just to discuss about the movie. Some people like to write about their experiences of traveling around the Bond location, meeting Bond guests, going to events. All this we're trying to cover. Usually we cover the past year. So when you get your magazine now somewhere in mid-March, it's usually back to everything what happened back in 2023. So you get that. That's one magazine, but it's bigger, the many others might get half of it or so. So that's the one. We have an own Bond shop. We call it Bond shop. So you get a lot of Bond-related items, sometimes even some special rarities, worth to check out. As a member, you get immediately 20% discount on each item.
That's great.
Interesting. Yeah, if you're a collector, then you get the 60 Swiss francs membership easily paid off. We have agreements with several partners, especially with Schilthorn, obviously. Then if you're a member, you get discount on the cable cars, you get discount on Bond-related items in their gift shops. We're working on some new partners for hotels and stuff. So it's a lot to discover. For the activities, maybe shortly, we have a board meeting that's just for the board, 3-4 times during the year, where we all get together and discuss, about all the planned activities, the numbers, the Bond shop, everything connected to our club.
Yeah.
Social media became quite important the last years, more and more. The website, which we urgently need to repolish because that has been hidden a bit in the dust, but we're working on that one. We have a regular newsletter called Bond Post. And of course, probably the most important for many are the annual events. Sometimes we have smaller events, like we call it club events, where it doesn't need to be at the Bond location every time. but
Right.
just people come together, trying to have a good time, getting some drinks, good food, talking about Bond, but not necessarily. But it's mostly to meet people, meeting new friends, and being together. I think this is one of the most important, to exchange with people, like-minded people from our Bond community. It's always
That's everything.
interesting. I'm sure you agree with that.
Oh yeah,
Where you come from, the language.
that's everything to me. Is kind of bringing the people together. And you mentioned events. Do you have anything planned for 2025?
Let me think. You might do. Well, there's several things actually. If you have discussed with my fellow president's friends, you probably already got one of first information. This is official. I'm not going to reveal any secrets because we're still working behind the scenes hardly. We have a joint event with our friends from the French, from the English, and the German James Bond fan clubs. And that will be a joint event on Saturday, 31st of May, sorry, at the beautiful Castle Chantilly, close to Paris, to celebrate the 40th Jubilee of View to a Kill. So that's a general thing, but we're really busy behind the scenes because we want to try to send more information, to start the sales quite shortly. That's the one thing we're working. It's also interesting to interact with other clubs because you have at least 3 different languages: French,
True.
English, German, Swiss German. They are not for you, they're the same. For us, they're 2 different languages, but it's about the same culture.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you have different cultures, different. But it's fun. Also, it's hard work. That's the one we're working together. Besides that, we're working on our own event. I'm not sure how much I can reveal otherwise before my event manager kills me, but I know it's related to another jubilee we have this year. Can you guess which movie I might be talking about?
It could be GoldenEye, it could be Spectre, but it's probably GoldenEye.
It's GoldenEye. Yeah, well, very well, David.
You have a dam jump in Switzerland.
You have done your homework, I see.
I mean, I've done the dam jump too.
Too early. You should come back. No, well, I can reveal probably that it's connected to GoldenEye, and GoldenEye without the dam, if for a Swiss club, probably doesn't make a lot of sense. Maybe I'm giving already too much away with that, but for me it's normal. If you count 1 and 1, that's Versaska, the dam. I won't be able to tell you a lot about that because I'm not too much involved into this one for different reasons.
You got it.
Because Goldfinger event, if you remember, we have been working 1.5 years on that one last year. And I have to take care. I'm involved in many other side projects, but the GoldenEye, that's mostly our event manager, Natalie, who is in charge of. I only get a bit of information that I am allowed to get. Yeah. Maybe also that I can't spread the word to everyone before it's official.
There is that, yeah, no kidding.
But I'm sure it's going to be a nice quality event. I have a few more things, but on time we will be able to tell more. But that's only 1 month later than the joint event in Chantilly by end of June. So maybe some people want to pin it down in the agenda. But this time it's more like due to the nature of the place and the guests, it will be more a German-speaking event. There are no international guests planned, at least at this moment.
Right.
But yeah, because it's always difficult. You want to do it the right way for everyone, but sometimes you have to do it also only maybe German, then a bigger one for everyone, for the international guests. So it's a bit difficult to vary.
I want to see you eventually in the harness going off of the dam. Do you think that's possible?
Me?
You?
To jump?
Yeah.
No, I'm too old for that. I did it when I was much younger. I'm an old man now, David.
You're younger than me. What are you talking about?
Come on. I'm older than you. Or we are about the same age, right?
56.
Huh?
56.
56. Here I am.
Oh, then you
Can
need
you look
to jump.
longer? I need a coffee for that. Can you see
I'm
that?
going to give you swing back 2 stiff martinis so you have
Okay.
courage, and then I'm going to push you.
Just push me. Yeah, that's very kind of you. I wouldn't have expected anything like. I did a bungee jump, yes, in Australia, but many years ago, not related to any Bond locations. But I got an experience of the bungee. It was pretty special.
Yeah, you feel it in your spine though. At 56, I think you're right. We'd be crippled the next day.
Because everything inside they tell me, "Are you ready?" And I'm like, "What? Sorry, can I say that?" No, I'm not, but I'm yeah, I am. And then it's just like, go, go, go.
Oh my
He
God.
told me just one thing. He told me, "Don't look down." And
Oh.
obviously, I looked down because I wanted to see if my friend is ready with the camera, because I'm going to do that only once. And I'm like, "Oh shit, okay."
Yeah, it's
I'm not ready, but
intimidating.
I'm ready.
Well, and at the GoldenEye Dam, I remember they said the same thing. They said they didn't say don't look down. They said don't stay and look down. Like if you're going to look down, just keep diving down. And so that's why. And I was the first one to go for the day. So I was the one that tested it out. So I was just
And
like
everybody else was let's see how David will handle it, and then we still can decide whether we want to do it or not.
Yeah, and what happened was, unfortunately, it got stuck around my leg. So everybody was watching me kind of flounder, but I highly recommend it to everybody, especially in Switzerland.
Oh, by the way, if you're a member of the Swiss Club, I'm going here with publicity again. We always got discount for the jump as well for the members.
Oh, is that true? No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good reason just to join the club right then and there.
There are many good reasons. So enough publicity. But the best is you check out people interested, maybe just to check out our social media, YouTube channel, Insta, Facebook, or the website itself. So thanks for giving the chance.
Of course. We're going to put all the links down below. But Marcus, thank you so much for supporting everything with the Swiss Fan Club and Bond and beyond, really.
Thanks a lot for your interest and for having me.
Of course. See you soon, my friend. Take care.
See you. Bye-bye. Take good care. Bye.
All right. Well, the next gentleman that you're going to see probably needs no introduction. You all know the face and the name. He's been around for quite a long time with a lot of success. Ladies and gentlemen, from Club de France, Mr. Luke. Luke, how are you, my friend?
Oh, welcome to the country of freedom. Welcome. It's such a pleasure to see you. So I am not in my country. But it's a pleasure to see you.
You're in a very special place, not just location-wise right now, but you look like you're in the back seat of some sort of vehicle. Can you tell us where you are?
I don't tell you. I show you. It's better.
Yeah. Oh, what is that?
That is the Rolls of Mr. Goldfinger.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and you can see the DB5 over there. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I love my life.
See, here's the thing with Luke, you need to understand. He doesn't do anything small. He doesn't do anything subtle. He's got to do everything grandiose. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think to live a life of James Bond fan, you have not to live like James Bond. I'm not James Bond, of course, but you need to see more than the things closer than you. You need to look forward. You need to look far away. That is why, for 24 years of my presidence of the club, I always try to do something that no one thing before. To do nice magazine, to do nice event, to do to be very kind with everybody, to meet all the fans of the world, and to talk with them. And to I don't like to speak about James Bond because sometimes when you talk with a fan, it's always the same story. Which one do you prefer? Which movie? Which girl? Which no, we have to be with the people and to meet as much as people as is it possible, and that's what I try to do for a long time now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, no. So you said something though I want to kind of pause on. Are you, correct me if I'm wrong, around the globe, are you the president that's for James Bond clubs been around the longest?
Oh, certainly, yeah, certainly. I think just after me, it's maybe Marcus Hartmann from Switzerland.
Mhm.
Is 11 or 12 years, something like that. And no, nobody does it better before.
If you do say so yourself. But by the way, one of the things I've described you as is that you are not just the president of your club, you're what I call a president maker, meaning you've encouraged a lot of people to become presidents of other clubs. Why is that important to you?
Yeah, that is since 2 or 3 years, and we start. I start with a discussion with Barbara Broccoli.
Mhm.
We had an interview 2 years ago, and I said to Barbara, "Oh, Barbara, there is no club in England. It's a shame." I say, "Look, yes, it's a shame. Please do it for me." I say, "No, wait a minute. I have enough work to do with the French one, but I know someone who can do it. I will check that. I will see that for you." And the first guy I call when I come out from Aeon House in London, the first guy I call, it was Philippe de Wurtz. I say, "Go, Philippe, do it. She is okay. She is agree. She wants a club in England." He said, "Are you sure?" "Yeah, yeah." She told me 5 minutes ago. I have the video of it. I have everything. You can do it. And he did it. It's a big club, a big success, and he enjoyed it a lot. And recently, since I am in Vienna for 5 months now, many people came to me and say, "Oh, you are the president of the French club. We would love to have a club in Austria." Yeah, and one guy, two guys, five guys told me that. So suddenly I make a meeting with all these guys, and today there is a club in Austria with the big president, George Reichenberg, and it's go. It's a new club. I think that Philip did the same with the Irish club or
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah,
yeah, that's right.
that's it.
Yeah, well, that's
And
what I love about it. It's almost like, dare I say, vampirism in the sense that, you bite somebody, they become a vampire. It's, you
yeah,
connect with
yeah,
them,
yeah,
they become a president. But the other thing is, I think it gets to the fact that people want this feeling of belonging, of community, of relevance. But you need a leader. I hate to be like this, but you need somebody to sort of steer the ship. And do you, I have so many questions for you, but getting back to even your club, all these years later, do you still feel the same level of passion, or over time does it wane a little bit?
that is a very, very good question. To be honest, no.
Okay.
I think I did so many things about James Bond. I started James Bond, I was 12, with The Man with the Golden Gun. My father brings me to the theater to see this movie. I say, wow. And when I saw The Spy Who Loved Me 3 years after, I say, okay, James Bond will be my life. But now I think my life of Bond fan is done. I've been on the set. I meet Barbara and Michael, Barbara many times, and Michael. I meet many actors who play James Bond because I was the president, because I am the president, sorry. I did a nice club. We have a very nice publication, true publication that you know.
Mhm.
And we've done so many things, a big event with Star, with the thing. I think today, when I'm looking back, I say, how I can do it better. That's impossible. Maybe I can do one thing to
Yeah.
find someone to come after me. I found someone.
Ooh.
I found someone, and that is an exclusivity for you. In the end of 26, that will be 25 years that I am president. I will say, stop. Now, young people, maybe new actor, we are expecting something, maybe happen one day. And so I think we need a new team in France to take this club and to look forward and to move on again.
Wow,
I will
that's
do it. But
it's almost a little sad. First of all, I want to applaud you and give you a compliment because so many people sort of go down in energy but they don't realize, they're not self-aware that, hey, there is somebody awaiting to pick up the mantle, but you're handing the baton to somebody. So good on you for being self-aware. But will you serve any role? Will you be on the board? Will you be in the background?
But more and more today, I leave my number two. I have a number two. I leave my number two to do the things by himself. He is doing well. He has many things to learn again. We have a good money revenue with the club. Everything goes right, and he has to learn many things. But he has many ideas. He found new guests for the new event, and we try to get for the event now someone that we've never seen before. That is important because we have a long list of many people that we've seen many times. I say now stop. We need to have someone new on all the events we want to do. For example, last month we've seen Dali Ben Salah from the No Time to Die movie, and it was the first time he came to a club to meet and to talk to the people. 25 years is very long. It's very long.
Sure.
And sometimes I would like to be in the public. I want to see what's happened. You understand that?
Oh, totally.
But I will be there. I will be there always.
I was going to say, we need to see you because you are still more than a figurehead. You're everybody's friend, and I'm the same way. I plan so many of these events that it's so nice just to show up, to attend somebody's event and relax and socialize. When you're planning it, you're so worried about everything. It's so stressful. And for 24 years, you've been doing this and you have to constantly reinvent yourself. I mean, I'll give you everybody an example. I mean, these magazines, these beautiful magazines that come out, they take so much work to do.
Yeah. Fortunately, for many, many years now, I have a fantastic team. I have 12 people with me. These people, these guys and girls are crazy. They are crazy because every time I have another idea, I want to do that. I want to go up there to put the flag. They say, okay, sure, why not? We go with you. And that is incredible. Yeah. I am lucky. I am really lucky.
For these, I found that the team is everything. If you don't have a good team, one thing I've told everybody is, like the Bond experience is not a club, it's a single individual, but the clubs truly are as good as the community and the team that they have.
Absolutely. And when I stay for 5 months here in an exhibition in Brussels, in Prague, in Vienna, I meet many fans, and they come to me like I was the most popular guy in the James Bond legacy, and that's very fun because they can talk to me that I've done so many pictures like you because we are the fan, we are the image of Bond, of the Bond fan, and that is fantastic. I love my job. I love my job.
Well, I think you have been a personality that has also been embraced not just by the fans, but also by Eon. You've got a very close relationship with Eon, where I think they've given not just the club, but you some incredible access. How does that even happen? How do you get that close to them?
It was a long story. At the beginning, with my money man, it's called Olivier Lebas. He's the guy that no one knows, but it's the guy, every time I have a doubt, I call him, I say, what do you think about it? And we talk about Eon at the beginning, and he say, we will never ask nothing to Eon. We will do the job. Maybe they will say, stop, it's too much, because we don't pay nothing for all the image and all the things we use from Don Jack and Eon. And so maybe one day they will come to us. And suddenly, 2 years ago, it was a good example. It's a good example. It's happened many times, but 2 years ago, they called me. They say, hey, Luc, are you available to come in 20 days in the Eon House in London to meet Barbara and Michael? I say, oh, let me check. I want to see.
Yeah, right.
Okay, yes, it's okay. And so then I came, speak only me. I was alone. I thought that there were many people for this interview. No, I was alone.
Wow.
and I had 1 hour to ask any question to Barbara and Michael. It was just after the No Time to Die. And so Barbara told me, "You've done in France such a beautiful job, a beautiful magazine, beautiful event with all our friends, all the technician, all the actor, the actress, you who come to your events." Uh, She loved that. She loved that. She's not an enemy of the Bond Club. She loves the club, of course. She say, "We do the movie for you. Yeah, please do some more movie." But yeah, uh, she, but we do the movies for you, and okay, it's okay because she saw they see the magazine and this as you tell us, you tell me, it's a beautiful magazine. It's something that no one done before. No one. I say to the other president, you should do the same one as me because my magazine is the reference today of the Bond magazine, and we need it in German, we need it in English, we need it in many languages.
Yeah.
Why not Italian? I'm ready to help you to do the same magazine.
It's so smart. No, and the connection's so clear. And by the way, besides the magazine, there was this great card in here that has a nice picture of you for 2025, and it made me think like we need to talk to you and all of my audience about what the clubs are doing in France because you have a big event coming up at the end of May. Can you tell us about the event?
Yeah, I can. The 31 of May in Chantilly, in my city, in my place, we will do for the fourth time a big event with the visit of the castle, with the visit of the stable, with a big lunch in the stable, with a white dress on the table, something very
Wow.
beautiful.
I
You
love just the fact that it's an amazing location. I mean, people from all around the world can visit this location. It's so very Bond, but then you can also, while you're there, take in some of the other experiences and sites. Like you've got this 1 day event, but then you've got all this surround sound as well that you can kind of pepper the weekend with.
and the visit of the castle of Chantilly is a special visit of the set of the movie. We don't do the historical visit of the castle since uh, um, uh, 1,500 years and something like that. No, it's a special visit of the Zorin Castle, all the place where they shoot the movie. I was there. I was 26 years old. I saw the movie. They were shooting in my castle, in my city, in my place. And so it's a real special visit. We will have a special magazine in French, in English, of the A View to a Kill. Everything is ready. I signed the contract with the castle for the day.
That's amazing. Well, we're going to look forward to that. Luke, I want to finish this discussion by asking you sort of about the reasons why all of my audience is drinking in all of these clubs. Why should they click on the link below and join the French James Bond Club?
We are a community. We all love the same things, and I think to meet new people, to meet fun like us as we do together, to talk together, uh, to have a magazine in two languages, to have. I show you something. It's
Yeah.
coming to you soon. That is on exclusivity. I can show you the new
Ooh,
membership card. You see,
ooh, gorgeous.
it's golden eyes today. You see, I show you the other side. Ladies first, please.
Oh, oh, that's
Ladies first.
perfect. With the Ferrari.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, I love that.
you see, when you get it, it's a limited edition of 500 pieces.
Oh wow.
Okay, this is a collector. That is one thing that you can put. It's included in the membership. You have to get it. You will get the magazine. You will get the membership card, and of course, you have a priority access to the event because we can open the event to everybody, but we want only the fan of the clubs of the world. Because I didn't say that because that is an international event with Philip Devers from England, with Marcus Hartmann from Switzerland, with Marcel Bauer from Germany, with George Richenberg from Austria. That is fantastic. That will be the second time we will do something all together.
I love
The
that.
first one was in London recently. You were there, and so that is the good reason to talk with the people who love James Bond.
Yeah. I love that. No, you can't get a better reason. And, Luke, first of all, thank you. Thank you for all the years. We're not saying goodbye to you yet, but thank you for keeping the Bond end up, not just in France, but across the globe, and for encouraging other people to take up the mantle of presidency and spearheading these clubs. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, thank you for you, thank you for your job, your incredible job.
Oh,
Wow. When
my,
we talk of David Zarisky today, it seems, oh, I had David Zarisky on the phone. Oh,
oh, Pasha.
that's great.
Thanks, Luke.
I'm George Reichenberg, and hello, welcome to Austria Bond Experience.
See that? I look at this. I'm meeting the president of Austria. Almost. You're better. You're the president of the
Elect.
Austrian James Bond fan club.
Brand new, and welcome, David, in our country.
Thank you so much, my friend. By the way, they've given me an Austrian gin and tonic with local gin, and you're having some sort of bougie drink.
So, as we
Mountain
say,
water.
Prost. Prost, David.
Prost,
Welcome.
Prost, my friend. I'm going to drink while we do this. First of all, thank you so much for welcoming me to the country. You are the last president that I'm talking to in this video. I've talked to the French president, the English president, I've talked to the German president, I've talked to the Swiss president.
All great guys, all four.
All good people, right?
Yeah.
All right. But here's the thing, you are by far the newest. So we have to peel you like an onion.
I would love to. Thank you for being peeled. Let's go. Let's go.
And by the way, I want everybody to notice this gentleman wore authentic clothing from Austria. What is this called?
This is the so-called Tracht.
A tracht.
A very, very small country, Austria, but still every little county has its own Tracht.
Yeah.
This is from Salzburg.
By the way, we need to talk about your country even before we talk about the club, because I am here to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Spectre in Solden. We both have gone up to Elements and Ice Cube, and we enjoyed the location, but you live in Vienna. What was filmed in Vienna?
Well, this was The Living Daylights. This is my favorite movie with beautiful Miriam Dabo and Timothy Dalton.
Also beautiful.
It is. And now here we are in the Iceland of Spectre in Tyrol.
That's right.
And it has this beautiful exhibition called Ice Cube and the Spectre Bond Experience.
So now that we know the environment and the geography, and we love Austria, the mountains, it's just absolutely beautiful, but also the people too. Look at that Punim. Tell us, how did you get pulled in to becoming the president of the Austrian James Bond fan club? How does this even happen?
That's a very good question.
Thank you, I thought so.
Something I never wanted to, but there is this president of the French Bond Club,
Luc
Leclerc, high on this, and Luc said, well, he has the biggest Bond club in, let's say, Europe or maybe the world, and he helped founding the English Bond Club with Phil. Phil is an amazing guy, hi by the way, and he said there is this German Bond Club with fantastic people there, and the Swiss Bond Club, which is the oldest Bond Club in the world.
That's right.
So the Austrian one is missing.
Yeah.
And then he helped me to get into it.
It's sort of like a little tiny self-selection and election of the presidents pulling you in and saying that there's a gap. And the gap is Austria. But I've fallen in love with the whole idea of what you want to do with this club, because there are clubs that, and rightfully so, they focus on charity or they focus on events or just galvanizing Bond fans together in a geography. But you said you wanted the Austrian Bond fan club to be about the Bond lifestyle.
Absolutely.
Tell me about that.
When we look at the other clubs and also the American Bond fans, every Bond fan has his own meaning, his own idea why he is a Bond fan. So the French, they have this beautiful magazine, and the English, they have a very, very good internet appearance. So I said, we want to do something else and maybe filling the gap with the lifestyle. So what I was impressed was meeting other people from different countries. Imagine you come to the south of France, so you come to Switzerland, to America, and you meet people who have the same interest. You never met them before, but they are already friends. You immediately have a topic to talk to. And when we met last summer at the Côte d'Azur, which was a beautiful meeting
Beautiful,
from
yeah.
the French Bond Club, we were talking to people from Pakistan.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Imagine
amazing.
that.
Yeah.
And they were Bond fans, father and son. Hi, by the way. And it was amazing.
Yeah, yeah, and I think also you have to know something about George. One thing the presidents do so well is they bring their own personality and interests. And you've always been interested in the Bond lifestyle. So, you know, as a president, but also your focus and your hobby being locations and fine dining and clothing, I think this is something you're able to bring to the club itself.
Absolutely, David. And this is how I found you. Because actually, I found David as you all in the internet. And I never could imagine being on this channel at the Bond Experience myself. Because what we all love, and I may say that, is you, David, being that accurate. And you already, there comes the Bond movie out, and you already know what clothes he wears, what eyewear he wears, where the place is, and then you make your channel so lovable, we all can participate. I always, as I often can, watch David like he's packing like James
Oh
Bond.
my gosh,
he's
yes.
dressing like James Bond. But for me, there would be also the cheaper version when you don't have
The
that
frugal
much.
Bond.
I'm the frugal Bond admirer.
Yes.
David has it all.
Oh, thank you. I'll give you the €5 later. That was very
Thank you
sweet
so
of you
much.
to
I need that.
say all those amazing things. We need to break this down because there are many people watching right now who either live in Austria or they don't have to live in Austria to be a part of the club. But they're wondering, all right, I've met George. I like George. I like the idea of an Austrian fan club. What on earth are they going to do? What are some of the plans or vision that you have for the club?
Well, there's a brief glimpse of what vision.
Tease us.
A teaser. What we can bring out is now we are gathering, we are building. I have 3 beautiful vice presidents.
They're beautiful. They have to be beautiful in Austria.
They are, and every one of them has his special skill, and we all will participate to make that happen. And we want to celebrate with the French and the English and the German Bond Club and of course the Swiss Bond Club in Chantilly. We will have everything together on the 31st of May in Paris, France.
Very nice.
So our idea would be maybe a meeting of the Living Daylights in Vienna.
Yes.
Would be David
Yes.
Zaritsky will be invited and many more.
I will 100% come there with my wife. We desperately want to go back to Vienna.
And what we saw in 2019 was very impressive from the Swiss Bond Club. It was on Her Majesty's Secret Service on 3,000 meters height, a bond party. And maybe we can organize something like that for Spectre here in Tyrol.
That would be amazing. So you have 2 primary locations. I would think that you're going to focus on that. But into Vienna, like, what are the types of things a Bond fan can do in Vienna?
Well, a lot.
Oh.
Because you may know that Bond has a special beginning in Vienna, which was actually in 1949 when they shot The Third Man. A lot of people who were participating in Bond, they started their career in Vienna with The Third Man.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, with the director, John Glenn, was starting. He spoke to me. The first thing I saw when I introduced myself, I'm from Vienna, he said immediately, The Third Man. He was very young and he started at that movie. And also Bernard Lee, he starred in The Third Man. So actually, The Third Man was the first British movie abroad, and this was in Vienna.
Oh, wow.
It was a spy movie. So if you watch closely, The Living Daylights has a lot of this dark and black idea of The Third Man, which the director, John Glenn, brought into it.
Can we also go in the Ferris wheel?
Yeah,
I sound like a
but
child. Can we go in the Ferris wheel, Daddy?
You have to come to the giant wheel.
Somebody told me, a lovely, lovely woman that you may be engaged to, said that you can actually have dinner on the Ferris wheel?
Yes, you can.
Can you? Is it good food?
Well, I wouldn't.
Ooh, that's a no.
Well,
That's a no.
I would stay in Tyrol for this
All
good food, or
right.
have it somewhere else, but not on the giant wheel. Enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
Because it can be very, very long. Imagine.
Do they still have the fun house there and like the
Exactly. It's
all
called
that?
the Prater, which is Latin and means
Prater?
long. The Prater.
The Prater?
Exactly. And this is the amusement park.
I learned tonight how to say, could I have the bill, please?
Please go on.
How do you say it?
Kann ich die Rechnung haben?
It wasn't that good. That was much better than I did.
I'm sure you can do that. Come on.
No, because it was bitte at the end. It was like bitte. Bitte
Okay,
is like
this is
thanks,
easy. This
right?
is please. This is bitte.
Bitte.
Bitte. So it's a bitte. Bitte.
I always
It's
found
please.
like I'm begging.
Exactly.
Bitte.
That's it. That's German.
It's all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Or Tyrolian.
So help me here, because people after this are going to want to say, all right, how do we meet the new president? How do we greet him? So you talked about France. Will you be possibly in London in October for the Cue the Music weekend?
Well, I would love to. That would be amazing, meeting all Money Pennies who are still alive with this amazing Cue the Music band.
Yeah.
I happened to see them in 2019 in Switzerland.
Was that the last time?
It was, yeah, and it was amazing. I was so impressed. And they are every Bond song was immaculate. It was perfect.
It was perfect, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
So last question, but it's the most important. And this is like the big one, kind of talking to people about the Austrian fan club, because you're kicking it off this year in a big way. You've got, as you say, beautiful vice presidents, only beautiful vice presidents.
They are.
I'm just saying, what does success look like at the end of 2025? So a year goes by and you look back and go, gosh, I remember when I spoke to David at the end of January. What a year we've had. What does good look like to you?
It's very American how to measure your success. But I'll try to
I'm
answer
American.
that. Exactly, and we all love that.
Gotta
It's
ask.
the Bond experience, as you know. And our success would be being performing in this, may I say, Bond family, and find some new friends, and maybe have 20 or 30 members at the beginning.
That is very reasonable.
And already some concrete plans for our meeting in Vienna or in Southern.
And becoming a member, is it as easy as just, engaging on Instagram and things like? There's nothing formal or anything like
Right
that?
at the moment, you find us on Instagram or our homepage.
See below for the links.
The Bond Club Austria, and just send us a message, and we're happy to see you.
I have a prediction for my friend here, and don't make me a liar, everybody out there. By the end of this video that we're posting right now, you will have 30 members on your Instagram.
That would be
I can
lovely.
almost promise you that you'll have
Please
that.
give us a call. We're happy to see you.
Absolutely. George, thank you so much.
It was a pleasure.
What a great representative from
Bye-bye
Austria,
from
and
Austria.
for James Bond. And by the way, we get to do the ending of the whole video now.
You're right.
Yeah, so how do we say goodbye in Austrian?
Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen. Bye-bye.
Do you sing it like Auf Wiedersehen?
Yeah, that's how we do it. Like the sound of music, you remember? So, Auf Wiedersehen.
Hello, goodbye, Auf Wiedersehen, goodbye to you and you
We keep
and you
him.
and you
He's
and
gonna
you.
stay with us in Austria. It's perfect.
We
We love him already. This is how we live here.
Well, I'd logged some serious air miles and going around the world and speaking to all the presidents. It was wonderful to connect with them, to hear and see their passion behind what they do and why they do it. I think more importantly, though, was I saw something very consistent. No matter who they were, cultural background, language, age, didn't matter. I saw that they were after one thing, and that was you and me as Bond fans, to help us to celebrate James Bond, to escape, just like the James Bond movies do, but through a club, through a feeling of belonging, through a feeling of being part of a group, being a part of a community and something together where we can galvanize this passion. And whether it's online or offline, whether it's at events, whether it's through magazines, or simply having a card in your pocket that reminds you, oh my gosh, I've got a group of people that really connect with how I'm wired as a James Bond fan. They're all focused on that goal. I love that. Focused on that one goal. That's pretty exciting, not just for today, but for the future. All right, well, there you have it. Down below, there's links on how to join these clubs. You can join one, you can join them all, see which one's right for you. I know, I joined them all. Yeah, I think they all bring something unique to the table and pretty wondrous, and you can see some of the people behind it. In the meantime, this has been David Zaritsky for the Bond Experience. We'll see you all real soon. Take care. Thanks for watching the Bond Experience. If you like what you saw, why don't you subscribe to the channel by clicking this button right here. We'll keep you up on everything new that's happening in the world of Bond. And speaking of something new, here's something new just for you because we know you so well. Talk to you soon.